Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole. I'm an astrologer, card reader, and life coach, and this is my channel dedicated to all of those things plus spiritual topics in general. If you are interested in booking a reading or a coaching session with me, you may do so at my website, nicolebrenny.com. So this is part of my daily live astrology videos. So if you guys have ever seen any of those, I started doing this over a week ago. Basically, I just go live every single day. I bring a new topic to discuss, and the topic can be anything from astrology to coaching to the spiritual community in general. So this is kind of more about the spiritual community and something that I'm interested in discussing called spiritual hygiene, basically how to not get trapped into these weird spiritual patterns that we have as a community. So today we're going to actually talk about what I'm calling the live, laugh, love syndrome, or spiritual bypassing. And before I get into that, I just have a couple of announcements for you guys. So the first thing is that I am teaching a Cards of Truth class. I'm actually going to make a whole video more about what exactly that class is going to entail, but I taught that last year. It's a 22-week course. It takes you from the stages of not really knowing that much about the Cards of Truth to being a full professional of the Cards of Truth. If you really follow the curriculum, you'll be able to do readings for people at the end of the 22 weeks. And at the very least, be able to use them very fully as kind of a self-development and self-knowledge tool, which I think is the best thing to do. I use the Cards of Truth every single day in my own life. And then the other thing is that I'm going to be going to the Maldives, which is going to be super, super exciting. I actually just got off of a call with the organizer of the event last night. And basically, we are going to be there from June 1st to June 8th. It's going to be a creators retreat, meaning that there are going to be different creative people from the YouTube community there, as well as astrologers, including Joni Petrie and the Leo King. And there are other people that will be announced. And it sounds like a really amazing time. I'm super, super excited about it. So I hope that you guys can join. I know there's also going to be ecstatic dance, different tantra workshops. So you're really going to be able to go there and get like kind of a variety of different knowledge experiences. So I hope that you can join me. I'm super, super excited. There's going to be like snorkeling and things like that as well. So I'm just ready for like an astrology flavored vacation myself. Okay, so let's talk about spiritual bypassing. And also I tried doing my makeup today because I thought that it would make me feel like more energized, but I just kind of feel like I'm not used to wearing makeup anymore. So I feel really weird. And also it was a full moon last night and Chiron just shifted into Aries. So I don't necessarily like feel a specific way. I just kind of feel weird right now. I don't know if you guys also are feeling weird. And when I was doing the dishes last night, I dropped a steak knife and it fell from the counter, like the height of the counter, all the way to the floor with a point down, and it landed on my foot. So basically like the point of the knife went right into my foot, and my foot like hurts. Like I was limping last night, and it's a weird cut because I don't really know how deep it went, but basically like the whole point of the knife went into my foot. And yeah, so I've been having a weird time. So that's why I was like, I need to like try to wake myself up and get myself energized a little bit more since today I just feel weird, but it didn't really work. So spiritual bypassing, I wanted to talk about that today because fellow astrologer Timothy Halloran posted an article on Facebook today that was written by someone on Medium. And I posted the link to that below if you want to check it out. But basically, that inspired me to talk about spiritual bypassing because I wanted to talk about it for a while. It's a term that some of you might have heard me use. I know a few of you have heard me use and asked me what I think it's such a damaging thing to spiritual progress and how you can work towards not having to get into this mode of spiritual bypassing. Just see who's all here so I can say hello first. We have Anton and Renee, hello. So not too many people joining us, might be because it's right around lunchtime. Everyone's probably eating, depending on where you are in the world. But spiritual bypassing is essentially using spirituality or positivity as an excuse to not really do the self-work you're supposed to be doing in order to really evolve and really grow. That's why I'm calling it the live, laugh, love syndrome, because it's kind of this attitude like everything's going to be okay, everything's going to be fine. We can ignore all of the bad feelings and we can focus just on being in the moment and laughing and loving, and we don't have to feel anything else except for those things. It's like the situation where, you know, you are feeling really sad about something, but you're trying to just stay positive and you're trying to just focus on the good things and not allowing yourself to really feel the bad feelings that you're feeling. Instead of feeling the anger or feeling the frustration or feeling the sadness, you're bypassing those feelings so that you can only feel happiness or hope or joy. But the thing is, there's so many books that are written about like the happiness principle and happiness in general, especially by like really great spiritual leaders. And I apologize that my brain isn't an encyclopedia, so I can't remember the names of these books because I remember reading about them like 5 years ago. But there are many books that are kind of, they talk about how happiness is kind of a myth. It's a myth that we're supposed to be happy all the time. And when you do enough study of astrology and you do enough study of the cards of truth, which I'm studying very, very in depth right now, you realize that it's not just about being happy. It's really about achieving a state of equanimity or achieving a state of inner peace and achieving a state of basically being kind of objective and allowing what's happening to happening without being too happy or too sad about it. So equanimity is really the state of not being overly excited, but also not being overly sad about things. And really it's that state of, that should be really our default state, is just kind of being in the state of peace, the state of like, okay, I'm not super, super happy and not super, super sad, but I'm at peace. So peace is kind of the thing that is supposed to be our, not, I don't want to use the word supposed to be, but it's kind of the state that the spiritual leaders speak about. And in our society, it's all about how can we make ourselves happier? How can we make ourselves more fulfilled? How can we make ourselves blah, 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 blah. But really, at the end of the day, it's more about being at peace and being okay. And because we're human beings, we're not really supposed to be at peace either. That's kind of a spiritual path. The thing about life is that life is not always going to be easy. Life is not always going to be perfect. Life is not always going to be everything that we ever dreamt for. Life in and of itself, because it's a process of us, you know, it's a process of growth. We grow physically, we grow mentally, all those things. And spiritually, we're going to grow as well. Emotionally, we're going to grow as well. Because growth is involved in life, we are going to face challenges. We are going to face moments of difficulty. So life in general is not meant to be solely happy. Death is one of those things that's certain about life, right? Pain is a thing that is certain about life. When our bodies grow, we experience physical pain. When people we know and love die, we experience emotional pain. These are things that are certain about life. So how can we expect to go through all of life just being happy? And so spiritual bypassing, only focusing on the happy things, only focusing on the good things, when someone important in your life dies and you just decide to wallow in joy, you know, instead of actually feeling the remorse and the sadness and the loss, you're really missing out on an opportunity for growth. Almost all of growth, a lot of growth is painful. And that doesn't mean that you should be like, you know, hurting yourself or only seeking out painful experiences. But it really means that when you are going through those hard times, that you really allow yourself to feel what you're feeling and gain the lesson from that, rather than rejecting all those feelings, which will probably come back for you at a later date, and just focus on what you want to feel. That's almost like what a drug addict does, right? A drug addict chooses not to feel what they're feeling. And so instead they, you know, do some drugs, or an alcoholic drinks a bunch of alcohol. It's like, in our own way, in the spiritual community, we choose positivity, or we choose mantras, or we choose any number of these things to bypass how we actually feel, because we are so afraid of feeling what we truly feel, which is actually who we are. We're afraid of facing who we truly are. We are partially how we are feeling. And I see that a lot with people coming to get readings. They are getting readings because they don't want to feel what they feel. They are, you know, sad about a relationship. And so they want to be able to control the relationship so they don't have to feel the sadness related to that. They want to know that everything's going to be okay. They want to know that they're always going to be happy. They want to hang on to some kind of a positive outlook rather than facing the facts. And luckily, I'm not an astrologer that only, you know, says all the happy, joyful things. I'm pretty realistic and I'm pretty straightforward with people. And also I do life coaching, so I know how to kind of work with people on that level. But a lot of the times people are just looking for that happiness fix. And, you know, spiritual bypassing is something that I heard first when I was really practicing Kundalini Yoga every single day. And I heard it from Guru Jagat, who is a Kundalini Yoga guru, essentially from, I don't know where she is actually from, but she was living in California and she was doing these televised Kundalini Yoga classes on Rama TV. And she was talking about spiritual bypassing and how she too believes that that is something that is totally detrimental to the spiritual experience. There's kind of this like idea that the happier you are and the more joyful you are, the more spiritual you are, because the emotions like negativity, jealousy, anger, frustration, those are all lower emotions. You know, those are for animals. Those are for people that haven't become enlightened yet. That an enlightened person is always happy and always joyful. But it's not the case. We are human beings. We are on this planet. We're going to feel things like jealousy. We're going to feel things like pain. We're going to feel things like frustration and anger. And instead of allowing those to control our lives, those negative feelings, we can experience them and we can integrate them and we can learn the lessons from them and we can use them for growth instead of spiritual bypassing, which a lot of people do. I mean, I get so many people, I'll be honest with you, I get people that email me all the time that are, it's almost like, I don't want to be rude because I know some of you guys email me and they're wonderful emails and they're amazing, but there are a select few people that email me almost in like a stalker-ish kind of way because they watch my YouTube videos. Maybe you are watching right now, but there are very few of you that do this. And the people that do, it's like they have this overwhelming live, laugh, love. And some people that say live, laugh, love that email me are fine, but there's this specific brand of live, laugh, love. Everything is going to be okay. Everything is wonderful. And when you really get to know these people, there is so much brewing beneath the surface that is not okay. And they're kind of wearing this mask of positivity to hide it or to not deal with it. So I always notice the people that are, and Guru Jagat actually said this exact same thing. And now I'm saying the exact same thing she is, but it's like those people that are so positive, oh, everything is so wonderful, you know, are actually kind of the scariest people when you really get to know them. They have not dealt with themselves. Like I've met so many people that are like, oh, love, you know, everything is so wonderful and joyful. And I'm just so happy to be alive, you know, and then you really get to know them and they're like breaking down just totally depressed messes, you know, and you see them on YouTube or you see them in real life and they're, oh, I just feel the joy of God within me. And it's like, you don't, because you're not being realistic. It's impossible to be positive all the time. And I'm not saying that people need to be negative or cynical or anything like that, but really check if you're really, you know, if you're really feeling joy, feel it as much as you can. I obviously try to do that as often as I can. But if the joy isn't there, you know, be real with what you're feeling. Whenever I'm really real about what I'm feeling with people in my life, I also get a deeper connection with them. Like if I go to the grocery store and the guy that's checking me out says, how are you? And I'm terrible. Like I have my shirt on, like one time I had my shirt on backwards. I hadn't brushed my hair, you know, several days. I was like wearing shoes that I hadn't even tied. And I was like, obviously I'm not doing so well. I've had a really rough week, you know? And we started talking and we actually became friends. So it's like when you can be real with yourself about how you're feeling, you can create a world that's actually true to who you are, and you actually can achieve more spiritual growth. So the feelings that we feel that are negative, that we think are lower because we're, you know, spiritually evolved people in the spiritual community, you know, those are feelings that we're meant to be feeling and we're meant to be integrating and we're meant to be using in a way that's constructive. I tried making a video with Ryan Kurzak a long time ago about like the right use of anger. And I can't even remember exactly what he said, but we explored this topic more in depth because it was so long ago. But you can probably find that on my channel. And I know when I've really felt the anger that I've felt huge clearings and huge revelations. So it's important to just feel what you feel. And the answers to a lot of your questions are in those feelings, more so than you trying to run away from those feelings and just get a quick fix from, you know, looking at your astrology chart or whatever it is. Obviously, astrology and tarot and all of that is there to help you with your self-knowledge and your self-understanding. And that's the best use of astrology and the best use of tarot and the best use of meditation and all of that, in my opinion. but it's not good to use those things just to kind of run away from your feelings. Self-knowledge is going to do a lot more for you than you just trying to get your quick positivity fix. Okay? I don't know if this is making very much sense because, like I said, I feel like super weird today. And I got stabbed in the foot with a knife last night. So I'm like in this weird kind of pain. But I wanted to, fulfill my promise of a daily live video and talk about something I think is important. We have a lot of comments here. So, wow, you guys said a lot of stuff while I was gone. And PBJ said 8 of spades. Yeah, the 8 of spades is at equanimity point. Exactly. You've completely just perfectly described what I'm talking about. That's the equanimity. Renee was saying live, laugh, love syndrome is a great name for it. I mean, it's totally true though. And if you guys are watching right now, please give this video a thumbs up so that we can, help other people with their live, laugh, love problems. Renee says, ex-drug addict here. She speaks truth, y'all. LOL. Marina, I too would use substances to mask my true emotions because I thought at the time that they were too hard to bear. I've been clean for 15 years and it has allowed me to grow. No more suppression of feelings. And Mara as well, escaping through drugs and alcohol in the past and pushing feelings away made this person physically ill. So yeah, like the thing is that it's going to come back to get you eventually. Your feelings are always going to follow you. I mean, I personally know this. I moved from place to place to place and I realized, I keep having the same problems. And only until moving to Costa Rica and having more of like a broader vision of my life because I'm older and hopefully wiser, I was like, I'm just going to stay in this one place and I'm not going to blame my problems on anything outside of myself. Another part about spiritual bypassing is blaming things on astrology or blaming things on compatibility or blaming things on, the tarot cards or the cards of truth. Like, well, I'm running a 5 of hearts, so that's why I'm going through this. Or, well, Mercury is retrograde, so that's why I'm having this problem. Or, well, my son is in Cancer and his son is in Virgo, and this is why we're having this problem. I really quit doing that. I really, even if my astrology said like, okay, you're going to have the shittiest time of your entire life. And this guy is completely the wrong person for you. And this country is completely the wrong country for you. I did not make an excuse for my life to be frustrated or anything like that. I didn't make an excuse for my life to do nothing. I instead, whenever problems would come up in my life, I would focus on me as being the creator of those issues and working on myself. And that is where, when you drop the spiritual bypassing, which of course I've fallen victim to in the past. I don't even want to use the word victim, but I made myself a victim of that in the past. Whenever I did that, I wasn't allowing myself to do as much personal work. And now I feel, because I've recognized this in my life, I feel like I've done more work on myself than ever because I'm not letting astrology or compatibility or astrocartography be an excuse for any of my problems. Anything negative that we see in our chart, a weakness that we have in our chart is there for a reason. And it's not for us to quit living. It's not for us to, blame it all on astrology. It's for us to work through that. So spiritual bypassing is not only just being live, laugh, love, but it's also blaming things outside of ourselves, including, spiritual tools like astrology and all of that, on the fact that we aren't living the life that we want to, or becoming victim to the stars, for instance. So my message today on this day where I kind of feel not so great is to really look at your life and seeing if you're taking responsibility. Again, this whole thing, we've got Saturn and Capricorn conjunct K2. I'm just bringing up different facets of these planets for you guys. Right now, it's just really looking at, are you not taking responsibility for your life? Are you hiding beneath positivity instead of drugs? I mean, also the same people that hide behind drugs and all that kind of stuff tend to start to hide behind positivity when they drop the drugs. So you still have to face it at some point. It might not be today, but you're going to have to face it at some point. All that stuff is going to come back to you. So how are you going to do that? I know for me, I haven't always been like this super, super positive, everything's going to be okay person. I've definitely been more realistic, but there have been moments where I have been like overly hopeful just because I didn't want to feel something. And I know a lot of clients that come in, or people that don't end up being my clients, that come in that they're definitely having that live, laugh, love syndrome. So I'm not trying to, you know, if you are living in that, it's not a good or a bad thing. I'm just trying to point out how that can kind of hold you back. And I'm not judging anyone for being in that, because I've been in that too. We've all been in that probably. Anybody watching this channel has been in that mindset. And I know for a fact I've blamed my problems on astrology and tarot cards and compatibility 1,000 times. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, of course. I'm sure we all have done that. So I'm just telling you guys from reflection and thinking about this stuff a lot and speaking with a lot of other people in the community, how this stuff really holds us back. And it's not spiritual. It's not spiritual to not feel what you feel. It's not spiritual to ignore the things that are difficult. That's like the least, it's like the opposite of spirituality. So, you know, start taking responsibility. Don't forget Saturn. We have cruel planets. There are cruel planets. We have Mars, Saturn, we have Ketu, Rahu. You know, these are all cruel planets. And so that's part of our karma. That's part of what we're meant to experience. So why don't we just start experiencing them instead of running away from them? Learn what we have to. All right. Let's see what else everyone is saying. Joe is here. Hello, Joe. And Carolyn says, that's cool, Nicole. I have a lot of dark feelings, so good to hear that. Yeah, I'm not saying, and again, I'm not telling everyone like, oh, you just need to go, you know, be in your room depressed and cry, you know, for 1,000 years, or, you know, be goth or something. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, be realistic. You know, maybe that moon, that full moon in Virgo is just bringing up this like realistic thing for me. Like, let's be realistic about how we feel. Let's not make our feelings anything more than what they are. Let's achieve that beautiful quality of the 8 of Spades card, which is that equanimity, you know? The 6 of Diamonds is a card of the day today, I believe. And that's a card of like external fulfillment and happiness. And that's kind of why, another reason why I wanted to kind of bring this up today. It's like, oh, everything is happy and everything is great. And I have everything that I need. Everything is wonderful. But after the 6 of Diamonds, we have the 7, 8, and 9, 10 of Diamonds. We've got way more diamonds to go. And all of those diamonds require us to move beyond the ego. So yes, when things are good, when things are happy, feel happy and enjoy and just allow yourself to feel that fulfillment. But don't use an escape into everything is great, everything's gonna be amazing, to really ignore the reality of your situation. Bring some realism into that. And I think you will go deeper in your spirituality. I think that your self-knowledge will just be more exponential. Like the growth of your self-knowledge will be crazy. Because, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever dated someone that's like really terrible, because I know I have. And like, you're always making excuses for them. And you're like, well, most of the time he's amazing and loving. And like, when he's really, you say, this is what you guys will say. And my clients say this too. Well, like when he's really being himself, he's like always so funny and he's so giving and he's so wonderful. Like when he's actually himself, he's amazing. Okay, so when he's being only positive things, he's being actually himself. But when he is yelling at you and drinking all day and, you know, literally, like I literally had a boyfriend once that would physically run away from me down the street, just like physically, like we'd get in an argument, he would like run away from me. So when he's not, that's when he's not being himself, but he's being himself when he's like giving me gifts and he's doing all these nice things for me and whatever. My question to my clients is always, okay, so how is he not being himself? Or how is he only being himself when he's being perfect? We are both of those things. He is both of those things. He is the culmination of all the things that he does in your relationship. He's a culmination of all the gifts he gives you and all the nice things he says. And he's also that guy that's running away from you down the street when you have an argument, physically running away as fast as he can. He's all those things. You can't just choose. That's what I'm telling you. You can't just choose. You're not just this perfect, amazing person. You're also all these bad parts about yourself, these negative feelings, this sadness, this jealousy, this regret. You're all those things too. And so why don't you nurture and accept all of yourself? Why don't you nurture and accept and love all of yourself? So then you can actually have a clear idea of who you actually are, so that you can actually do something with your life, so that your life purpose will become clear, so that the work that you do in the world will make more sense, because you'll actually know the instrument in which you are using in this lifetime, which is the instrument of yourself. That's my question. So why are you ignoring part of yourself. Why are you, some of you might even be ignoring 75% of yourself if you have a lot of unresolved stuff. So that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say to you guys. Quit ignoring yourself. Rahu in Cancer is not going to let you ignore yourself. So you guys better get with the program now, because time is this, you know, this whole 18-month cycle is breaking down. I don't want to even say cycle. I think I'm going to start using the word spiral. This whole 18-month spiral section of the spiral is, you know, getting smaller every day. So your time window to really accept yourself is going away. Also, I don't think I like how I look with makeup today. So I don't think I'm going to wear makeup ever again, unless I have my nice camera. That is just my opinion. Those are all my opinions about everything. Someone just said Duolingo. Emily, why are you saying Duolingo? Speaking of Duolingo, I need to keep studying Spanish. Necesito estudiar más de español porque voy a olvidar todo y no quiero olvidar todo. All right. So I'm going to go. And thank you guys all for the beautiful comments. Again, if you're watching this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to share any stories of your spiritual bypassing once this video goes live, or if you're watching the pre-recorded version, please share your thoughts, comments. Maybe you don't agree with me. If you don't agree with me, let me know. If you didn't like this video for whatever reason, let me know like why you're disagreeing or what's, you know, what your problem is. All those things are really helpful for me to see what's going on with this community. And yes, I'll be back tomorrow. If you're interested in booking a reading, I do like, my favorite reading is I combine astrology, the cards of truth, and tarot. I've been studying tarot since I was 12 years old. I've been studying astrology and the cards of truth for the last several years. And all of this, and I mean, I've been doing astrology like, you know, on and off my whole life. Not my whole life, since I was 12. That's kind of when I started really studying things, was when I was 12. I was like, okay, I was aware. I was a sentient human being by that time. And I combine all these different modalities. It's a really intuitive reading. And I basically answer all of your questions and kind of give you a, you know, vision of what life is going to look like for the next few years and kind of your challenges and the biggest lessons that you're going to learn. And I get you equipped with how to deal with those lessons in a very realistic way. And I can answer specific questions casting cards in the moment or by looking at your chart. So that's my favorite reading. If you're interested in the diamond reading, you can book it at my website, NicoleBrenny.com, or you can email me, hi@NicoleBrenny.com, if you have any other questions about any of my other readings. But I'd love to see you in a reading. And I do have some readings I have to go do today. So I'm gonna go, and I will see you guys in my next video. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will talk to you later. Bye.